On this episode, we are going to talk about my commitment to read 4 books per month for you. We're going to talk about auditing. We're going to talk about eliminating. We're going to talk about automating, and finally delegating. And we're going to wrap it up with talking about taking your calendar back. Welcome everybody to episode 23 of the Steele Entrepreneur Show. Today we're going to do a little bit different of an episode. Basically what I want to do is I want to switch it up. So I want to do one episode where I do questions, one episode where I do sort of more thoughtful, more introspective, more tactics and strategies, things that I've implemented, things that I can share with you and say, you know, with certainty, this shit works. So this one is a this shit works episode. And well, let's get into it. So the first thing that we are going to talk about today is basically my commitment to a book a week. And I've heard multiple sort of points on this. You can't possibly absorb that much information in a week, or you're rushing it, or, you know, why make a goal like that? If I don't make a goal like that, I simply won't do it. If I don't commit to you guys that I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it. I am socially accountable to you folks to come every Wednesday with a new book read and tell you sort of the highlights of said book. Now I'll tell you how I sort of get over the absorption part of it, because it is actually damn hard to try and take that book and actually take some meaningful stuff from it. And I'll tell you how I do it. So the first thing is that I'm doing is, as I'm reading through the book, I am indeed taking my time. I'm not rushing through it. There has been a couple days where I sort of leave it till the end and procrastinate. But for the most part, I'm taking my time. I'm doing 1 hour in the morning. So from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. I'm reading. And then 2 hours at night from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, I'm reading as well. And not only is that just great for my day, but it's quiet time. It's time where I can really, really focus. I take a highlighter, I take stickies, and I tag the book up. So what I'm finding is I'm reading through the material and then I'm reading it again as I'm highlighting it. So now I've read it twice. Then what happens is Sarah, our show manager, asked me to create a summary to go with a Facebook post on the book. So this could be like a blog post for you, for example, and just detail sort of the top insights. So what that forces me to do is open up the book again and go through each one of those points that I highlighted, the important stuff, the stuff that, and very important, I am taking the stuff from these books that I can action now, right? I'm not reading books just for the sake of reading books. I'm grabbing books that mean something to me now. So for Sarah, I'm going through the book again, essentially, but just the important stuff, the stuff that I thought was important to me, to you potentially, and then I'm putting it in a little summary for a Facebook post. Now I've read it 3 times. Now I have office hours on Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, where on Facebook Live I will read excerpts to you guys again from the book. A 4th time, right? And then one more time, I will take, at the end of the week, I will take what I've read in that book and again, go through it. And it's fast. Once you've got these fucking tabs, it's really quite quick. Go through the stuff I've highlighted and create action items. And I'll put that onto my daily Trello board. So my Trello board that essentially manages what I'm queuing up for myself personally, and create action items. So I'm sort of creating this situation of reinforcement. Of essentially reading it 5 times and then taking action on it. And then hopefully from that action, I'll be able to come onto this show in, you know, this episode or you know, in a future episode and say, hey, this is what I tried. This is how it worked for me. Avoid this, do this. That's like a 6th time. Plus now I have experience doing it. So I've created some systems to help me with absorption. I am now committed, which is amazing. Never before was I this committed to reading. So maybe try and take some of these little things that I'm offering to you and do them for yourself and see if that works for you. But I will tell you, of 2017, this is one of 3 things that has been the most powerful for me, and I expect it to continue. The next thing that I want to talk about, and this is the only reason that I'm even able to read this many books per month, and that is because I am auditing, I am eliminating, I am automating, and I am delegating everything that I do. Start with eliminating. So, or rather, excuse me, let's start with auditing. Auditing is essentially time tracking, or just being aware of the things that you are doing. Time tracking is great because you're able to associate chunks of time with things that you actually do. So at the end of the week, you can be like, oh shit, I spent this much time on these particular tasks, and I don't need to be doing those tasks. Otherwise, you would know which tasks you completed, but you would have no idea how dire it may be that you eliminate or automate or delegate that piece of, you don't know how to assign priority to the biggest time wasters potentially. So I use FreshBooks for that. There's lots of other time trackers out there. Harvest, for example. I can't think of any others, but there are others for certain. There are some free ones too. FreshBooks, for example, is free. That's why I use it. And I also use a Trello board. So everything that I do, me being here right now, is on a Trello board. And so what that enables me to do versus, say, a notebook where I would have like, my day laid out, I can see it all in one place. So I can see the shit that I'm doing over and over and over and over again, right? It's all in front of me. Whereas a notebook, I'm flipping pages, right? It's not all in one place. So I'm more able to identify things that are happening over and over again so that I'm able to better get rid of that shit essentially. So that's the auditing piece. The next piece is eliminating. So that's just essentially assigning the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle to each item, and just asking yourself, quite honestly, do I need to be doing this? Is there somebody else that can do this 80% better? If there is, give it away, right? Delegate it. Or is there something that quite honestly brings me no value? Brings me no value, brings my family no value, brings my team no value. And if it's any one of those, it's gone. Clients. How much trouble to how much value do they bring? If they bring more trouble than they're worth, gone. You just go through every single thing and decide how important it is that you keep it. And if it isn't, you get rid of it. Meetings, gone. Meetings in person, gone. All these kinds of things are now being eliminated from my calendar from my Trello board, from the things that I do, because I am aware of them. Otherwise, at the end of the day, I'm just looking at it and be like, okay, I did some things today. I don't know what I did today, but I did some things. Delegating, or rather, let's go to automating. Automating things like, it doesn't even have to be that fancy. It's not like you have to have a programmer, though that helps. It doesn't mean that you need to get a Zapier account, though that helps. It can be simple things like filters in Gmail. If it meets this criteria, forward it to this person. If it meets this criteria, send them that canned message, right? It doesn't have to be fancy. If you do have access to things like Zapier, for example, or IFTTT, if this, then that, something like that, then yeah, automate other things. Automate things that you find on your Trello board, for example, that you're doing over and over again that can be automated. For example, I've automated email functions, for example, and a number of different other things. And then finally, delegate. Delegating costs money because it's human hours. So that's the last on the list. And quite frankly, you don't want to give other people meaningless shit just because you don't want to do it. So it is your last resort if nothing else works. And it's simple, man. It's just organize your day in such a way that you leave enough time for tasks that you're doing that you can tape a video. You're not in a rush. You can tape a video. You can be thorough. You can create a guide. Hell, you don't even have to create the guide. You create the video. You give the video to the person you're going to delegate it to, and then you have them write the guide. And then you go through the guide and you add your little bits, things that they missed, things that you may have missed in the video. That's it. So that has created incredible time savings. And frankly, like I said, it's the only reason right now that I'm able to do more thoughtful work, which is very, very important. It's the only reason that I'm able to read these freaking books, right? Next thing, taking back my calendar. So I'm just going through the top 3 things that have made the most impact on me so far in 2017. And this one is definitely one of the largest. I tried to automate my calendar, using Calendly, which in theory is awesome, right? You are giving somebody else control of your calendar. You want to book a meeting with me? Here, take my link, right? It was powerful, it felt good. But what would happen is I would have these little 15-minute, and I would only give the 15-minute link, right? I was like, no meeting should take more than 15 minutes. So I'm thinking, damn, I'm doing good. I'm not taking any big meetings anymore. I'm gonna have all kinds of time. No. So what happened is I would give this 15-minute link out. People would click it, they go and they find a time in my calendar, they book it. There'd be no back and forth, which is great. You want that. But I'd have all these random 15-minute meetings. And so what would happen is my day would be totally fucking fragmented. I would have a 15-minute meeting, and then I'd have to get back to what I was doing and then remember what it was that I was doing. And then all of a sudden another 15-minute meeting. Shit, I got to prepare for that. And then there'd be no time. There'd be no thoughtful time. There'd be no time to be thoughtful about what I was doing because I was constantly bouncing from little meetings. So what I've done is, like I said, try to take my calendar back. And what it essentially looks like is I now have meetings on 2 days. It started with 3, now it's 2, Tuesday and Thursday. And there are 2 chunks, 1 chunk on Tuesday, 1 chunk on Thursday. The chunk on Tuesday is a 2-hour slot. The chunk on Thursday is a 2-hour slot. It's done in 15-minute increments. Sure, there might be a meeting that might need as much as 30 minutes, generally not. I don't go to in-person meetings unless that is just the absolute an absolute necessity. Most times it is absolutely not. A phone call, worst, is sort of the next worst case scenario, but in most cases it can be done by email, right? But if you have to do a meeting, then a call is fine, and 15 minutes, that should be all you need. Batch your meetings so that you come to your meetings, you're prepared for them. Make sure people send you agendas. In Calendly, if you use Calendly, you can ask questions like, what are we going to talk about? Can you send me an agenda? And so then you come to all your meetings prepared. You know exactly the action items, the discussion items. You've gone over the material, and boom, 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 get back to the meaningful shit. So now I have these big chunks of my time where I can actually run my businesses. Whereas before, it would just be fucking task work all day. I would, at the end of the day, look at my day and be like, the fuck just happened? And I would have to be okay with that because, well, I did my best. I worked as fast as I could, but the problem was I wasn't structuring my day properly. So just very importantly, don't give people, it's lovely to use tools like Calendly, and I think you should use them, but take control of your calendar. It is okay if you're not always available. People are okay with that. And sure, you can make some exceptions sometimes, but the more strict you are about it, the more successful you will be with it. So that's it. Those are the 3 things in 2017 so far that have made the biggest difference in my life, in my business life, and I have no doubt they will continue to bear tons of fruit. Thank you for your attention. I really, really, really appreciate it. The team appreciates it. All the people that pour all their time into this show. It may look pretty simple, but let me tell you, there are hours and hours and hours and hours that are going into every single one of these episodes to get it out to you. So I appreciate them. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. If you liked this content, I hope you will. You share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, like us, follow us on Instagram. Leave us a comment. If you have a question, I love, love, love questions. It is the fuel to my fire. If you haven't subscribed to us on Facebook or on iTunes, if you haven't left a review on iTunes, and remember, this is a podcast too. I grab the audio and we bring it to you in audio format for those who don't want to see my face once a week. But more than anything, thank you. I am very, very grateful for your time, and have a wonderful week. See you in episode 24. Thank you.